So guys, Orbus has been, incepted since 2010 and has been a training, company. We have been delivering services, training services and training modules across the cybersecurity as well as the IDM domain. We have come up our when we say our logo or our, the concept, or we say our mantra is learn, grow, succeed. We have come up with a new identity, that is a cybersectrainings.com, which has n number of courses, along with that e-learning platforms and all set of services in terms of the cybersecurity and an IDM. Our objective at Orbus International has been to be partners and finding out and developing the top talents out there. We have been into the ERP and CRM. Our team set of trainers, right from the trainers, from the marketing, sales, everybody mantra is to ensure that we have these successful professionals across the globe for the cybersecurity and IDM. And that's the agenda, that's the motive, and cybersectrainings.com just works up with us on those lines. Further, to move ahead, in cybersecurity services, Orbus have been providing the trainings across the domains like the identity and access management tools, cybersecurity tools, cloud security, and other securities. And we have been partnering for the consulting and the project delivery services as well. Moving on, particularly from the IDM domain, we have the IDM manpower, looking into the identity governance and administration side, having the access management ahead, and of course, looking into the section of the privileged access management. The tools which we have been successfully been delivering the trainings across at the enterprise level, at the individual levels, are being with us, like from the Microsoft, IBM, Ping Identity, NetIQ, One Identity, Beyond Trust. Moving on to the Savient, Okta, SailPoint, RSA Secure, Oracle. Our clients have been, we have been increasing since the time of our inception from 2010. We have greatly progressed in terms of acquiring and having the direct empanelments at the, and few of our clients have been Wipro, TOS, HCL, LTI, Capgemini, Mercer, Emphasis, Birlasoft. So further, as we have been, moving ahead. So now I would like to open the forum and would like to introduce our trainer, Kamal, who would be going ahead and, taking this session further. So over to you, Kamal.
Yeah, thank you, Gary, actually. Okay, so hi, everyone. Good morning, guys. Can you able to hear me? Am I audible? All good? Okay.
Yes, you are.
Yes. Okay, great. Good. So, yep. So now what we are going to see, right? So as Gary mentioned, right? So we were having we are providing the training for the major products actually that is related to the cybersecurity and identity and access management, right? So in that identity and access management, okay, so I'll be the trainer for the Ping products basically. That is the Ping suite. Okay, so Ping suite is nothing but, for example, let's say, so here, okay, there are like a lot of products, lot of companies, they are providing the, what do you call, the cybersecurity and identity and access management. But before that, okay, we will see what is an cybersecurity, what is an identity and access management. Do you know what is a cybersecurity, what is this identity and access management? Any idea basically? Anyone? Anyone knows what is a cybersecurity, what is identity and access management? Anyone?
Yeah, Kamal. It's to provide to protect application from to unauthorization. It's to provide a single sign-on service, federation services. It provide a secure authentication, authorization. So these are the features of the single access manager, and the identity, or we can say OpenDGO, or we can say OpenDGO. It's federation DGO. It's provide a secure identity actually. We can in the authentication model we provide a multi-factor authentication and all the stuff actually.
Exactly. So cybersecurity is nothing but it will cover everything actually. Okay, so not only on the single sign-on part, or like for example, let's say we can also cover about the data security, how we can able to secure the data, the full data, right? So for example, what are the data actually, what are the information basically? So for example, if you take a information means your first name, last name, your password, right? If you take a banking clients or something like that, means what are the data will be involved there actually. For example, let's say like your account information, your credit card details, or your debit card details, right? So each and every information in every organization, they will be secure it actually. Okay, that is data security. Okay, but here in that cyber security, the heart of the cyber security is also there basically. That is known as the application security. Okay, so that is known as the like a application security. Okay, so this is what the major part, okay, we are going to concentrate basically. Okay, so application security means how we can able to secure the whole application actually, how we can able to secure the whole application. Can you tell me? Okay, we can able to secure the data we know. Okay, like for example, encryption, decryption, those things are available actually. Secure the network is different actually, but securing the whole application, how we are going to secure one application actually, can you able to guess it? For example, in our day-to-day life, we are using the same concept actually. Okay, do you know that one? For example, there is a net banking application is there, right? For example, let's say like SBI net banking or HDFC net banking or ICICI net banking, right? So do you know what is that? What is that application security? So for example, application is the HDFC net banking actually. How we can able to secure that particular application? Any idea? Any guess? Anyone?
Authenticate.
Mm-hmm. Authenticate. Sorry, saying something.
Authenticate the application.
Yeah,
using
authenticate the
MFA
application using the.
configure the SSO.
No, using the SSO is fine actually, but the starting point is there, right? So authentication is the major concept actually, right? So authenticating using your username and password, right? So that is the major concept actually. Okay. So for example, not only on the, I'm saying not only on the net banking side actually, you can take a commercial websites like Amazon or Flipkart where you are purchasing something, right? So so in order to secure that application, you need to provide your username and password actually, right? So that you can able to purchase anything there. Even you can take it as like, for example, nowadays, can you able to imagine a life without username and password actually? Like, I mean, can you imagine a life without username and password? Like, I mean, in a single day, can anyone like, I mean, how many times you are typing the username and password actually? I mean, I'm saying like you guys are all will be working in one organization actually. So organization username and password will be different actually. Even in your personal life also, like every day you will be logging into different applications, right? So for example, you will be using for let's say like you are going to use the, what do you call, the YouTube or the Gmail, Yahoo Mail, right? And even commercial application, Amazon, Netflix, right? Hotstar. So each and every application, we need to use the username and password, and as well as the multi-factor authentication is there. That is in order to secure your password also basically, right? So but in a real time, in an organization or something, so every time if you are going to type the username and password, means it's not good, right? For example, like frequently it is asking you to, okay, yeah, frequently it is asking you to type the username and password, means whether you will be getting irritated or something like that, right? For example, let's say Facebook is there, Instagram is there. Okay, so these two are same products, am I right? Messenger. So these three products are same, right? So every time if you try to open this application, if they are asking to type the username and password, means whether you will be getting irritated or not actually, am I right? So in order to overcome this kind of a feature, right? So we are going to use the same username and password across different products actually. Okay, across different products actually. So that is called the single sign-on system actually. Okay, the single sign-on system is there for longer, like longer period of time is also there actually. So for example, let's say like, I mean, the Google products actually. So what are the Google products are there? For example, the Google products means the Gmail, okay, and then Google Drive, okay. So these products introduced as a first kind of a product where you can able to use the same username and password across different applications actually, right? So these are all where it is coming under. So these are all, it comes under the application security only basically, where you are going to secure the whole application by using the username and password. But we are going to use the same username and password for different applications also. Okay, so that is comes under the
Karthik?
yes. Hello.
Guys, a sincere request for the efficiently usage of this time frame. We would have a dedicated 15 minutes, QA session towards the end. And in the meanwhile, we would request you that if you have any set of questions, you can send it across through a chat so that once the agenda is being covered, then Kamal can go ahead and proceed on in terms of the taking up the questions. Thank you. Please proceed, Kamal. Thank you.
Yes. Okay, so now here, okay, so here if you see, there is a concept called identity and access management actually. Okay, so this is the major part in the application security. Application is the major part in the cyber security. Okay, so identity and access management is nothing but, okay, we are going to use the authentication inside the application. That is fine actually. But before that, before enabling the authentication, we need to have a username and password, right? How we can able to create a username and password actually. So that is what this identity and access management comes into the picture actually. Okay, so here in short form we can also call it as a IAM. So for example, let's say in an organization, for example, I'm going to start any kind of a service based organization actually. Okay, I'm going to provide a services for different clients actually. Okay, different application. So I am going to hire a lot of people. So my employees, okay, I will be partnered with different application like Microsoft or Cisco or like for example Cisco means for WebEx or like that, right? Cisco AnyConnect VPN or a Zoom meeting or like I mean even Google products also, or different products or different entity I will be partnered with actually. Okay, so in my organization, okay, I will be giving the username and password to the employees actually. Okay, so the employees, I will be having my own applications also, like for example my own leave application so that they can able to apply the leave actually, like I mean career application whether they can able to update their goals. Okay, the migration, and then the for example US immigration. So for example if I want to send some person to on-site means, so there is a talent nomination will be there, right? So these are all my organization application itself. So I will be having the separate login for that. So username and password will be logged in. Okay, but I am also having the partnered with other application like Microsoft, Cisco, WebEx. Okay, so my employees can able to log in into the Microsoft system, and then they can use the Microsoft Teams, Outlook, and like other products like for example, let's say Office 365, Microsoft Excel, Word, Cisco WebEx for meeting, and then a Zoom meeting or Salesforce for marketing technology, right? So each and every application will be there. So, but each and every organization will have their separate username and password to log in, right? Suppose I am partnered with 200 application means, so 200 different application will have their username and password. So it's not good to have a separate username and password for each and every application I am partnered with, right? So that's not a good one. Okay, each and every employee cannot remember 200 username and password, right? So what I will do, I will introduce the identity and access management. So that means it is a centralized solution to manage the users basically. Okay, so to manage the users means how we are going to do that. So we once the employee or any user onboarded into a system, we will create one digital identity for a user actually. Okay, one digital identity, there is no duplicates actually. Okay, so that is what the identity and access management will come to the picture actually. Okay, so centralized solution to manage the user. There are two parts are there in the identity and access management. One is identification, another one is access management basically. Identification means it's like managing the user details basically. So basically creating the username, password, okay, based on the first name and last name, right? Mail address and all basically. Okay, in order to manage the user details, identity management will take care actually. So for example, suppose if you guys are for example, let's say one person joined my organization means, so first day of that person actually, right, I will be generating the username and password, mail address, and then send it to him actually. So and next day onwards he can able to log into my application by using the same details actually. Okay, that is the identification. Now what is the access management means? That is known as the authentication and authorization basically. Mhm. So now tell me, okay, authentication means what do you, now tell me what is authentication and authorization actually. So authentication means who you are, authorization is what you are, right? So if you want to identify yourself, you need to provide the username and password. That is fine. Authorization means what you are, whether you are having a read access, whether you are having a full access, right? Or whether you are having a super user privileges, right? That we don't know actually, right? That can be done through the authorization basically. Okay. So now we don't need to go this way actually. We are going to concentrate more on the authentication part. Under authentication only, we are going to see this, whatever we are using it in our day-to-day life actually. That is known as a single sign-on and then the multi-factor authentication basically. Okay, so every time we don't need to type the username and password. So first time when you type the username and password, if the session is there in the browser, automatically it will log into the other applications also. For example, let's say if you are an employee of my organization means, so first time if you try to access any application, so the next time automatically the session will take you the seamless experience actually. So that's, you don't need to type the username and password every time. That is known as the single sign-on. Multi-factor authentication is like a second factor authentication. Suppose like nowadays and all, everyone is, our password is not that much 100% is not secured, right? So that is why extra authentication is also there. Like for example, sending a passcode to your mobile phone, or sending a OTP to your mobile phone or mail address, like that, right? So that is known as the MFA actually. Okay, so the secured applications like net banking credentials, like for example, have you ever noticed, guys, actually? So whenever if you are transacting one amount from one person to another person, it will send a OTP to your mobile phone. Am I right, guys? Have you seen that one actually?
Yes, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that is
Yes,
one of
yes.
the multi-factor authentication actually. And then when you are transacting some amount using the Google Pay, right? Google Pay or whatever, what do you call that? The UPI payment. So when you are doing the UPI payment option, it is asking for 4-digit PIN number, right? What is that 4-digit PIN number actually? That is also multi-factor authentication. So when you are swiping the credit card or something like that, right? And then it is asking for what do you call? Sometimes it will send a OTP also. Sometimes you are typing the 4-digit PIN number, right? So that is also like a multi-factor authentication only, because your credit card will be authenticated based on the CVV number actually. That is one way of authentication. Second way authentication is your PIN number. That is only known to you yourself only basically. Okay, yeah. So that is what the multi-factor authentication are happening around the world actually. Nowadays, you know the Microsoft Authenticator app, right? So in order to do the MFA, that is also there basically, right? So in order to enable the SSO and then multi-factor authentication, there are numerous number of products around the world actually. Okay. So for example, Google is also having their own SSO tool basically. Microsoft is also having their own tool. So one of the identity and access management products, okay. So there is a concept called Ping Identity around the world actually. Okay. So Ping Identity is nothing but it's a corporation actually. Okay. They have they found out on like for example, let's say 2002. Okay, so Ping Identity is the organization basically. Okay, Ping Identity is the company. Okay, so they like first of during that time only the single sign-on concept and all came into the picture actually. Okay, so before itself that you know that Microsoft Active Directory Federation Services. Anyone heard about it? This one, Microsoft Active Directory Federation Services, ADFS. Do you know this one, guys? Microsoft ADFS actually. Do you know? Anyone knows? No? Okay. So actually that is the first technology to enable the SSO basically. Okay. So then later there are other companies also came into the picture and then started the single sign-on process actually. Okay. But like the Ping IDT is one of the corporation, they started on 2002 actually. They again, it's like what you call, they started their first product as a, there are a lot of products nowadays. Okay. It's been nearly 22 years actually they started. Okay. So, like, their first primary product is the Ping Federate, actually. Okay, that is what we are going to see it in our training, basically. Okay, so, like, Ping Federate is their primary product, actually. Okay, primary product in the sense, right? Okay, what do you call, like, for example, let's say Ping Identity started their organization on the SSO product only. So, Ping Federate, they started on 2006, actually. So, it's been nearly 18 years, actually, Ping Federate came into the existence. Okay, so at starting, Ping Federate is only it's a federation tool basically. Federation tool is nothing but in order to enable the SSO for the applications in your organization. For example, if I am running the organization, means I want to enable the SSO for my application, means I will be partnered with Ping Federate to enable the SSO basically. So Ping Federate is acting as an identity federation system starting, but after that the lot of other products also came into the existence, like for example like Microsoft Azure, Okta, and then the SailPoint, Savient, and this kind of SiteMind, CA SiteMinder. There are different products, access management products, and all came into the picture actually. Okay, so then the competition also it's become heavier. Okay, nowadays and all, the marketing strategies and then marketing. The competition because between this SSO tools and all too high basically. Okay, so there are a lot of features they have added it actually. On this 18 years, right, they have added many features. Okay, starting for example, let's say 12 years before, 12 or 13 years before when I started my career on Ping Federate, actually 13 years before actually, right? So during that time, I think for example 2011 actually. Okay, so at the time and all, Ping Federate was not that much kind of it's not that much kind of a famous tool actually. Okay, it was used by a lot of projects, lot of clients, lot of banking clients and all. It was used actually during the time and all. It was just a SSO tool basically, which is used to enable the SSO, that's all. But later and all, right, 2017, 2019 and all, right, so this many okay, their best actually there are a lot of versions they have released it actually. Okay, so the best version, okay, it started from the 2014 to 2019 actually. So once 2019 has been started, right, they have added many features till now actually in this 5 years, right. A lot of advancement they did actually. Okay, a lot of features they have enabled it. So now if you see the Ping Federate as a product, right, it is the best solution for the single sign-on actually. Okay, so currently the market for the Ping Federate, or even if you take there is another product called Okta actually. So the competition is between these two. Sometimes Ping Federate will come first, sometimes Okta will come first actually. That is it happens actually. Okay, so why, what is the advantage, what is the major security feature actually? So like the major feature is that enable the SSO, that is 12 years before. But nowadays, along with enabling the SSO, they also added like different features, like for example multi-factor authentication in 2017 actually. And then in order to manage the self-registration. So for example, like what is a self-registration? For example, let's say what do you call that, Google, right, how you're creating the account in the Google or Gmail, right, you are doing the self-registration, right? That feature is automatically there in the Ping Federate actually. That is not there in the any other SSO tool basically. That feature is there in this particular product only actually. So there is a recent upgrade only that I think 2 years before 2022 they have enabled the self registration, one of the best feature nowadays actually. And also, like for example, there are certain kind of extra features, means for example, apart from the traditional SSO, there is one more SSO. It's not like a traditional, okay, it's not like an orthodox traditional SSO basically. So like we can also do a different kind of a single sign-on mechanism also. We can able to do it in the Ping Federate, that you cannot do it in any cloud system or any kind of a SaaS application. You cannot do that actually. Okay, so that is, it is there inside the Ping Federate basically. So this kind of advancement in the security, this kind of a multi-factor authentication, you can connect to any other SSO tool also using Ping Federate. That is also you can able to do that. Okay, so basically like a lot of features they have enabled within this last 5 years actually. Okay, so within this 5 years, the growth of Ping Federate, right, it's like what do you call, like it is like it's going at the speed of light, right? So that kind of a growth is going on for the Ping Federate, and obviously they made it so easy actually. Okay, I'm saying for example 12 years or 13 years before, okay, when you want to learn Ping Federate at that time, right, it was not that much easy actually. Okay, so for example, it will take nearly 6 months to, or 6 months to like go into the Ping Federate itself actually, because the components will be difficult. Okay, the user interface will be difficult. In order to learn any component will be difficult actually. But right now, right, Okay, I'm saying within 20 days you can be able to learn the Ping Federate actually. See how much the difference it made, right? Because they made the user interface too easy actually. Okay, that happened on the 2017 actually. So in 2017 they have given one upgrade actually, that is known as the 9 version number 9. Currently Ping Federate is in version number 12 actually. Okay, so ninth version they changed that user interface. That is a major that is a major breakthrough for the Ping Federate. Because all the other products like Microsoft Azure Active Directory or Azure SSO, right? So they are all giving the easier user interface to learn the SSO. But right now Ping Federate become the most easiest solution to learn the SSO basically, because it is like the components to use it. Once you understand the concept, right, like this, whatever the concept we are going to see, right? Once you understand the concept, then other products, the user interface will be easier to understand actually. That's all. That is the Ping Federate basically. So Ping Federate is an identity federation system which is used to enable the SSO. But not only enabling the SSO, we can also use the Ping Federate as an authentication server also. That means simply want to authenticate also you can able to do. Okay, hey, I don't want a single signer, but I want to authenticate only. That is also you can able to use the Ping Federate. Okay, and then you can also use multi-factor authentication inside the Ping Federate. So MFA is also available inside that, and like other technologies like self-registration, password reset feature, change password feature, right? So those are also you can able to do it in the Ping Federate. Okay, only thing is that the user, it cannot be able to you cannot manage the users inside the Ping Federate. So you need a different directory or external storage mechanism to store the users and then the password. That cannot be able to done in the Ping Federate. That is the only disadvantage in the Ping Federate actually, but that is not a major disadvantage, because anyways all the SSO tools and all, we are going to externally connect to different storage only for the users basically. Okay, yeah, but other than that, that Ping Federate maintains that self-registration page for that particular what you call for making up for the user database or user directory or user storage basically. Okay, yes, so this is what the major configurations related to the Ping Federate. So Ping Federate is an on-premises tool only. It's not a cloud solution, but right now they have given one update that you can able to manage the Ping Federate in a cloud solution also basically. That upgrade also came last year, it came actually. So that check also, so it's a SaaS solution also is done, on premises also it's done. Okay, and Ping Federate is a easiest tool to maintain the server inside the backend actually. Okay, so yeah, understood guys? Any doubts guys?
Yeah, Kamal, this is Gaurav actually. Just want to know one thing, that actually the Fojok is take over the Ping identity, right?
Yes, ForgeRock is also one of the leading access manager, this kind of single sign-on tool only. But currently, Ping Identity, they have acquired the ForgeRock basically. So right now, ForgeRock is they are changing the name to Ping Access Manager and Ping Identity Manager actually.
Yeah. Yes. My question is that actually, so they are using a Ping software, or they are using a ForgeRock software?
No, it's ForgeRock only. Okay, they just changed the name actually. Still, it is ForgeRock only. Okay, yeah.
Okay, so they are using a ForgeRock software, right?
Yes,
Like a AM 7.5 or something like.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, that is the same. Same.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. The same mechanism is going to continue actually. Just only they changed the name. It's like a Ping Access Manager. ForgeRock Access Manager was there, right? So that is Ping Access Manager, and then there is a Directory Services is also there in the ForgeRock, right? That is Ping DS basically, Ping Directory Server. Yeah. And I mean, Ping inside the Ping itself, you have like apart from the Ping Federate is the primary product, but apart from the Ping Federate, you have the what do you call the Ping access for authorization mechanism basically, or a reverse proxy mechanism. Okay, and then Ping directory is also there. That is the storage mechanism actually to store the users. And Ping one, that is the same SaaS application basically. That is the same Ping Federate as a SaaS basically. Ping one is also like a SSO solution only, but it is available in the SaaS. There is one more Ping one for advanced services is also there.
Yeah.
So that is the PaaS actually. That is platform as a service. We can also call it as a identity as a service actually. Okay. So identity SSO means it will be having all the products in a collection in a single one actually. Okay, like Ping Federate, Ping Access, Ping Directory, everything hosting in the cloud. That is the Ping one for the advanced service. That is platform. All the tools in a single platform actually. Okay, cloud platform. Okay, they are using the AWS cloud only in the backend. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yes. Yeah. Okay. So now we are going into the how we can able to enable the SSO basically. So for example, SSO is, you all know, right? SSO is just a normal using the same username and password to across you for multiple application. For example, if you take a Google products, right? So Gmail, Google Drive, okay, Google Calendar, each and every application you can access it with a single kind of a username and password actually, right? So that is a normal SSO basically. But actually there is one more SSO called that is known as the federated single sign-on basically, or like a federation basically. So what is that federation or federation single sign-on basically? So for example, let's say federation is nothing but, okay, what do you call, like for example, normal single sign-on within a single organization actually, within a single company. For example, if you take a Google means only for Google products actually. But suppose the same username, Google username and password, like for example, kamal@gmail.com and password, I can able to use it to access a Zoom meeting also basically. So how come I'm using the Google session? It is used for the Zoom meeting actually. So Google is a different entity, and then Zoom is a different entity. How come the session is there for the Google? It is used for the Zoom meeting, right? So Zoom meeting is a different entity. It's an external product actually, right? It's not a product of the Google actually, right? So how come the session has been established, and then how come the authentication is working actually? So that is what basically. So for example, let's say, okay, let me show you in a diagrammatic representation. So for example, so here in this configuration right here, okay, let's say you are the user basically. Okay, so for example, you are the user. Okay, you will be authenticated. You are going to try to access the application like that. Okay, so for example, your application like Microsoft. Okay, you are going to access the Microsoft. Okay, so if I want to access the Microsoft here, what will happen basically? So Microsoft means there are a lot of applications are there in the Microsoft, right? Teams. Okay, let's say Teams. Okay, and then Outlook, and then what do you call like for example Office 365, right? So for example, in this many applications are there, right? So if I want to access this Teams and all means I need to have a separate account in the Microsoft, right? I need to have a separate account in the Microsoft. So I need to have a separate account, directory server. Okay. In this directory server, okay, I will be having a separate account so that I can able to use that account to access it actually. Okay. Suppose if I am a part of a organization like this, for example, if I am a part of a, like if I'm an employee of TCS or something like that, right? Like this. Okay. So what I will do, so if I am an employee of TCS, okay, I can able to log in into the Microsoft application by using the TCS email address and password. Am I right, guys? Right? So how come it will happen? Because, so for example, TCS can able to partner with different application, not only the Microsoft. They can able to partner with like, I mean, Cisco, okay, and then Salesforce, right? And then the WebEx, and then the Zoom, right? So every application and all, every application need a different username and password to log in. I cannot use each employee cannot use a different username and password actually. Even though they use a different username, suppose I leave TCS means what will happen actually? So I need to manage one more person here to delete the account in Microsoft also. If I leave the TCS, because they will delete the account in the TCS actually. Okay, they will delete the account in the TCS because that is it is there basically. Okay, they will delete the account in the TCS here actually. Okay, so that is fine, but they need to manage one more person in the Microsoft also to delete the user details actually, right? So I mean, not only Microsoft, they need to manage it for each and every application basically. That's not a good one actually. So what they will write, so in order to overcome this particular kind of a usage actually, right? So what Microsoft will do, okay, hey, Microsoft will have a deal relationship with the TCS actually. So hey, TCS, your employee want to access my system, right? So you do the authentication from your side. Okay, you do the authentication from your side. Just confirm once your authentication is successful, just confirm me. I will allow the user to log in actually. So for example, Microsoft is not going to authenticate. So whenever the user is trying to access the Microsoft application, they will redirect to the TCS for authentication actually. Then TCS will ask for the login page, username and password. Okay, that is the employee user email address and password, kamal@tcs.com and password. Then it will verify in the TCS data store basically, that is a directory store. Then after successful authentication, it will give the response as successful authentication is completed. Please allow the user to log in. Then Microsoft will allow the user to log in basically. Similar case, same case with the Zoom, Salesforce, Cisco, everything will stay the same actually. Okay. So that is what the case actually. So hereafter, you're not going to, Microsoft is not going to do the authentication. It will redirect the current organization to, for example, if I am having an organization, I will be doing the authentication. Microsoft is not going to do the authentication. Even if you are going to have the organization, your organization will do the authentication, not the, because the users are part of your employee actually, right? So my employees will be authenticated against me only, not the Microsoft or Cisco actually, because I mean they will be accessing the Microsoft only, but they will be redirecting to me for an authentication mechanism actually. Okay, so this is known as the federated single sign-on basically. So why federated single sign-on here? Because so how come the Microsoft will trust the TCS actually here, right? So how come they will trust each other here? Okay, because Microsoft is not going to do the authentication. So basically it's a blind party actually. Okay, it's a blind. Microsoft is blind because they are blindly trusting the TCS. Okay, so I mean Microsoft is allowing the unknown people to the access actually, right? Because Microsoft does not know who are these people. Only TCS will know actually. So TCS just giving the response based on that information only. Microsoft is allowing the TCS employees. Similarly, TCS also will share their user details to Microsoft actually. Okay, because the information will be exchanged actually. So Microsoft is allowing the unknown people. Okay, because they don't know the TCS people actually, right? So TCS is giving the employee details to the unknown people actually. So they don't know the Microsoft. It's like a third party only. Not they are not the single party. They are the third party. So TCS is sharing the employee details to other party actually. Microsoft is allowing the users from a other party actually, right? So the risk is there between both of them actually. So still, but how come they will enable the, how come the trust between each other actually? So how come they will trust each other based, that is known as the that trust, right? So for example here, how come they will exchange the information based on the simple trust actually? So that trust is known as the federation actually. That trust is known as the, so the information is exchanging between the two parties based on the simple trust. That trust is known as the federation. Now the single sign-on will be enabled. So once you log into the Teams, then automatically you can able to log into Outlook O365. You can also log into Cisco, WebEx, Salesforce, and Zoom also. One login, you can also use it for multiple applications basically. Different organization application also we can able to use it. Same case with the Google with their own products, also with the Zoom product also basically. Okay, so that is known as the federated single sign-on basically, or federation single sign-on basically. Okay, so how come we can able to enable the trust? So normally the trust can be enabled by using a certificate actually. Okay, certificate. So the certificate will be used to enable the trust between these two. How come we can able to enable this process as a single sign-on federation single sign-on, or in order to enable the normal within a same organization, normal single sign-on will be used. Outside the organization, they will be using the federation single sign-on. So in order to do enable the SSO for inside the organization, federated single sign-on for the external application means how we can able to enable it. That is what the Ping Federate as a product will do basically. So Ping Federate is the perfect case here. So whenever the user is trying to access the application, right? Microsoft will be redirecting to the TCS, but along with the TCS, Ping Federate will be used to authenticate the user and enable the SSO basically. Enable this federation will be done by the Ping Federate basically. Okay, so Microsoft is having their own federation server actually. Okay, so this is done by the PF. Okay, Ping Federate as a product actually. Okay, clear guys? Understood why the single sign-on and then the federated single sign-on will be used? Any doubts here? Clear? So single sign-on means normal SSO within a single organization application, federated single sign-on from one organization to another organization actually. Any doubts here? Clear? Yes.
Yes.
So Ping identity, Ping Federate would be the IDP, right? Identity provider in the picture, right?
Yeah, that we will be seeing it actually. Ping Federate can also act as IDP and service provider also. That we will see it in the next slide actually. Yeah.
But the Microsoft was the service provider here.
Exactly.
Can't
We'll see that. We'll see that. Yeah. Okay. Yes. So the next slide we will see that what is IDP, what is SP, and all. Yeah. Okay. So now how we can able to enable this particular single sign-on? We know the product is there, but how come? We need to follow certain rules. Certain protocols are there. Okay. That protocols are known as the SAML, and then the OAuth basically. Okay. OAuth or OIDC basically. Okay, so that is what we are going to see it now basically. Okay, so what is a SAML? So SAML is nothing but it's a security accession markup language actually. The full form of the SAML, right? Security accession markup language. So it's an industry standard actually. Okay, so this has been introduced by Oasis organization basically on 2002. Okay, so that is a SAML 1.0 basically. Okay. So Oasis is the organization, they have introduced the SAML as an industry standard. So even if you want to enable, if you want to develop your SSO product, right, you can also use the SAML for free actually. Okay, Oasis organization, they introduced the SAML and they gave it for free. It's a free solution only, free industry standard. You can also use it if you are going to develop your own SSO tool. You can also use it for free basically. The same case with the OAuth also basically. Yes. So SAML is nothing but it's a security accession markup language. Okay, so based on the markup language, what is that markup language? Any idea, guys? What is a markup language? What is a markup language? So that is known as the XML format actually. Okay, so the SAML will be based on the XML format. Okay, so security accession is nothing but this is the word you might be hearing first time actually. So that is known as the response. Accession is nothing but it's a response. So security response markup language or security accession markup language actually. So it's one of the industry standard to enable the federated single sign-on and as well as the normal single sign-on within an organization or outside the organization also. You can able to do that by using the Ping Federate as a product or Okta, any product you can able to use it basically. Okay, so now here in this SAML part, right? Okay, so this document link also I will share you. Okay, this document you can also use it. That is the official document for the SAML basically. Okay, yeah, you can also access this one. That is the official link by the Oasis organization for the SAML part actually. Okay, yes. So now here in the SAML, right? Okay, so what will be the use case here? Okay, so SAML is nothing but it's a what you call, in other words, right? SAML is also called as a browser-based SSO basically. Why we are calling this as a browser-based SSO? Because SAML is primarily used for the browser-based SSO application only. Okay, if the application is accessible by the browser, SAML is easy because every transaction for the SAML is happened over the browser only basically. Okay, so we are calling the response, right? So if it is a response, what will be there actually? If I want to create a response, what will be what is a mandatory parameter? Can you tell me? So if it is a response, there must be one request will be available, right? Am I right, guys? If there is a response, there must be request. Am I right? So for example, the information is being exchanged between the TCS and then the Microsoft based on the XML format. That is the SAML actually. It's the same case. Whatever we discuss is the same. The information is exchanged between the TCS and then the Microsoft Based on the XML format, it's a SAML. It's an authentication protocol actually, which is used to enable. But this transaction is happening over the browser. So that is why this is called as a browser-based SSO or SAML actually. Okay. So there are two things are there in the SAML. One is SAML request and SAML response. Okay, and then there are two parties involved here actually. Okay, there are two parties involved here. One is identity provider, another one is service provider. So identity provider is nothing but who is doing the identification. That means who is doing the authentication. So who is providing the identity of a user basically. Service provider means who is providing the services to the user, and then the normal user. Okay, the user is the one who is trying to access the application. Okay, service provider means who is providing the services. Identity provider means who is doing the authentication basically. Okay, so now tell me in this example, who is the identity provider and who is the service provider actually? In this example, can you tell me who is the identity provider and who is the service provider actually, guys? Here?
IDP
TCS
is
is
the
the
TCS.
Microsoft is the
Microsoft
service
is service
provider.
provider.
Yeah, Microsoft is the service provider because they are providing the services to the TCS employees, right? So who is doing the authentication here? TCS, right? So that is what basically. Okay. So TCS by itself cannot act as a IDP actually. Similarly, Microsoft by itself cannot act as a service provider. Okay. Actually, in Microsoft can able to act as a service provider also. So TCS will contact with any SSO mechanism tool like Ping Federate or Okta, right? To act as a Ping Federate actually. Microsoft is having their own service provider also, or Microsoft also can contact Ping Federate, okay, or Okta as a service provider also basically. Okay. So whenever the user is trying to access the application, Microsoft, that is a service provider. Okay. So IDP information will be available here actually. Okay. Identity provider information will be available here. IDP information. So Ping Federate IDP information will be available inside the Microsoft service provider actually. Okay, so based on this IDP information, it will generate the SAML request actually and send the SAML request to. So it will generate the SAML request and send the SAML request to the identity provider. That is the Ping Federate basically. So here in the Ping Federate also SP information will be available. SP information about the service provider, right? The service provider information will be automatic. It's we need to configure it actually. Okay, before enabling any kind of SSO, right? So we need to configure these things before itself basically. Okay, so for example, we will exchange the information. So our IDP information is already configured on SP, right? So that means IDP ourselves, we need to configure, we need to share our information to them, their information to us actually. Okay. So we will make a call, we will set up a call with them actually and get this information actually. Then we'll configure it and we can test it. So whenever the user is trying to access the application without any session, right? So Microsoft, that is a service provider, IDP information is already there based on the IDP information, so that they can able to transact to which IDP they can able to understand, right? So that particular identity provider, it will send a SAML request and send a SAML request to the IDP. Then Ping Federate IDP should have to accept the SAML request, right? So inside the SAML request, little bit of SP information will be available actually. Little bit of SP information will be available. That information will be matched with the Ping Federate SP information also. Both of them will be compared, and then the PF will accept it, and then it will throw the login screen. Sorry. And then it will throw the login screen to the user basically. Okay, and then it will throw the login screen to the user. User will type the credentials. Okay, after successful authentication, then the Ping Federate IDP will generate the SAML response and send the SAML response to the service provider basically. Okay, then but Microsoft service provider should have to verify the SAML response, right? How they will verify the SAML response? As you already mentioned, the certificate actually. So IDP will sign the SAML response by using one certificate actually. Okay, do you know what is a signature actually? Any idea why we are putting the signature? So actually you guys know, right? So whenever if you are going to purchase a car or purchase a home, right? but you want to take a home loan or a car loan actually. So whenever you are going to take a loan, you need to provide your signature. Am I right, guys? Am I right?
Yes.
Yeah, yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
you are.
So yeah, they will be asking you, please provide the signature as per the bank records. So if you mismatch the signature, what will happen actually?
The check will
It will reject.
bounce or reject
Because
it basically.
yeah, because they will think this is a fake, right? They will think this is a fake. For example, let's say I'm taking a training for you guys, okay, and you guys are all sending a check to me actually, okay. In that check, you misplaced the signature wrongly, okay. So I mean, by mistake, you provide the signature in a wrong signature actually. So if I deposit the check in the bank, right, what will happen? They will think that I created a fake check and then I just deposited the fake check actually, right? Because they won't trust it actually. So the same purpose actually. So in order to Microsoft to trust this is the correct SAML response only, and the IDP is like authenticated the user, then only they have share the SAML response only, not before the I mean, basically you cannot create the SAML response before authentication. Only you can able to do it after the authentication only, but just for a just for a like a verify process, right? Verification, right? So the Microsoft will verify based on the signature in the SAML response. But normally we are providing the signature manually, but here IDP is providing the signature by using the certificate actually. Okay. So here IDP information is already there in the SP side, right? So the certificate also will be available. So the whatever the response has been generated by the IDP, signed by the IDP using certificate, this certificate and then this certificate should be matched. Then only the Microsoft will verify, or else they won't verify. It will reject it actually. Signature validation failure will be there actually. Okay. So if the verification is done, then they will allow the user to log in actually. If the signature verification is failed, they won't log in. They won't allow the user. So even though the user is typing the correct username and password, but the verification is failed actually because of the signature. Okay. So whenever the Ping Federate after successful authentication, it will generate the SAML assertion or response. That SAML assertion or response, they need to sign it. They need to sign it with a certificate. That certificate should be there in the SP side also, so that they can verify it. Okay, if they failed to verify, then they will be rejecting the user to log in actually. Suppose it is verified, then they will allow the user to log in. So along with the SAML response, this signature also, right? There is one more mechanism called SAML subject actually. SAML subject is nothing but they need to verify. Actually, Microsoft needs to know, or service provider needs to know what is the user is trying to access the application. So Microsoft needs to understand, okay, which user trying to access the application basically. Okay, so how they will understand? They will ask for one more parameter. Okay, hey, in the response, you are sending the certificate also, right? Can you send me which user is trying to access it also? So for example, if I am the user, my email address or unique identifier should be there in the SAML subject actually. Okay, unique ID in the SAML subject. So that means you cannot send the first name and last name of a user, because that's not a unique one, because there are a lot of people with the same name, right? So first name, last name and all, it won't be there. Okay, either mail address or the user ID, which is unique identifier to identify the user. Suppose that SAML subject is not there. If it is null, they will reject it actually. Okay, it won't pass. Okay, so two verification. One is signature, that is a certificate. Another verification is the subject, that is either the UID or mail address actually. Clear? So this is the whole process of the SAML action. It's too simple. The user is trying to access the application. The service provider will initiate the SAML request to the IDP. Okay, IDP will accept it through the login screen. After successful authentication, okay, after successful authentication, it will generate the response and then sign the response by using a certificate. Okay, and then also attach the SAML subject, send the response to the SP. Then SP will verify based on the SAML subject and then the certificate, then allow the user to log in into the application. Okay, this is what the SAML flow basically, guys. Okay, so now tell me who is doing the authentication for the user?
IDP.
Yeah, who is generating the SAML request here?
Authentication is generated by the service
SP.
provider.
Yeah, who is
Service.
who is generating the SAML response?
It's been generated by the IDP.
IDP.
PCS, IDP.
Yeah.
IDP.
Okay. Yes. So how the SAML response is verified by the SP?
On the basis of the subject ID, on the basis of the certificate,
Certificate
and
and then the subject actually. These two is fine actually. Okay. Yes.
Any attributes that make sense here? Like
No, that is the other. That is optional actually. Okay, that is I will be coming to that point. Yeah. So the mandatory things are SAML subject and then the what do you call certificate actually. You can also send, like for example, if you are going to the vegetable shop actually. Okay, so what are the required things you are going to purchase? You purchased it actually, like tomato, potato, and onion and all actually, right? So when you after you purchase, they will the vendor, right? So they will give some curry leaves or ginger for free, right? So the same case here also actually. So whatever the required things you sent it, that's all. Whatever the required things, SP will ask SAML response and SAML subject, and then the certificate it is there. Along with that, we can also send some attributes as a free, optional, like first name, last name. Okay, even though you don't want the ginger or you don't want the curry leaves also, but you will accept it. It is coming as a free, right? So similarly, even though they don't want the first name or last name, but even though if we send it, we can, I mean, the SP will accept it actually. They don't mind that. Okay. But actually, when you are going to the vegetable shop, but actually you are going to purchase some curry leaves and then the ginger, you will be asking for that actually, right? Similarly, SP also will definitely ask for certain other attributes also, like first name, mobile number, last name, and all. At that time, if you are not sending it, then they will reject it actually. Okay. So that is what certain times. Yeah. Go ahead.
is that in like SAML 1.0 or 2.0? Is it
This is I will coming to that one. wait. We'll come to that point one by one actually. Okay. Yes. So these are all like sometimes they will ask for the attributes extra. Okay. Hey, Ping Federate team, can you send me the first name, last name along with the mail address as a sample? So that means they will ask for it. Sometimes, okay, hey, I don't need any other attribute.
SP
Just
should
only
ask that.
yeah, SP will ask for it.
Their
Exactly.
requirement.
Exactly. So I don't want any other attribute. Just send me the UID in the SAML subject means then you need to send only the SAML subject actually. That is the requirement. So that is what the first call you need to get into the application team. So first you need to schedule a call, Microsoft Teams call with the application team actually. Get what is the requirement. Okay. Explain. They will explain about the application and all. Then if it is a SAML, you will be getting the SP information. You will share your IDP information to them. Then you will ask about this what are the attributes you need, what are the SAML subject you need, right? So like that you can ask for it, and then according to that we can configure it actually. Okay, so this is what the flow. So the request comes, one response goes actually. In between authentication will happen. This everything, the SAML request comes, SAML response goes, right? Everything will happen in the browser. That is why this is called as a browser based SSO basically. Okay, clear? Yes. So the SAML 1.0 has been introduced on 2002, I mentioned, right? So that is SAML 1.1 and SAML 2.0 is there. Okay, so SAML 2.0 is the latest protocol actually. Okay, has been released on 2005. So till now it's been 19 years actually. There is no new version has been released. Why? Because SAML is the trusted, secured, and it's like a restricted protocol. No one cannot be able to hack the SAML response actually. Why? Because you are using the certificate in the response actually. Okay, so that is the reason SAML is the trusted, secured protocol, and it's the fastest response actually. For example, when you try to log in, when you type the username and password, next second it will be there. It will be, everything will happen in the nanosecond, microseconds only. Even it won't take more than 1 second actually. Everything will happen in just lesser than 1 second only. That kind of a fast response will be done by the SAML. Okay. Yes, there are a lot of advantages are there, like fastest response, security is the major advantage actually. No one will hack the SAML response, even though browser based, even though we can able to see the SAML response in the browser also, no one cannot be able to edit it because it is trusted by the certificate actually, and you can also increase the security. Okay, so normally the SAML response in the plain text format, anyone can able to see that. But you can also use one more certificate to encrypt the content of a SAML response actually. So instead of sending it in the plain text format, we can also encrypt it actually. We can also Encrypt
The
means,
SAML
yeah,
response you can encrypt.
encrypt in the sense instead of plain text format, we can also send it in the cipher text actually. Okay, that is used by one of the different certificate, not the same certificate with the signature. This is an encryption certificate actually. So there are two processes. One is signing process, means signing the certificate. Basically, the IDP is telling the service provider this particular response is created by trustable identity provider only. So I provided my signature using this certificate. Please accept it. Encryption means, instead of sending in the plain text format, they are sending in the encryption format. That means they will encrypt it and then send it actually. So two different processes. That is it's not recommend. It's not that way. It's not that much useful actually, because already it is secured. It's just for extra security, but actually it will increase the dependence of the certificate actually, because this certificate will be already one certificate is you are using it. This certificate you are going, it's going to valid for 1 year. Okay, so every one year you need to renew it. So for example, 1,000 applications you are going to use it for SAML. So 1,000 applications you need to renew this certificate. Suppose 1,000 application you are going to encrypt also, means then other 1,000 different certificates will be there actually. So this 1,000 and then this 1,000, so it's nearly impossible actually to work on the renewal. So maximum this one, it's not that much recommended. Only the certificate normal signature is enough actually. So this is so SAML is nothing but it's a XML based authentication protocol which is used to enable the SSO for browser based application by sending the SAML request and response. Okay, that in the through the IDP and then the service provider basically. Okay, that comprises the SAML actually. Clear? Understood, guys? So in this one, there are two different flows also there. That is IDP initiated SSO. Okay, SP initiated SSO. So SP initiated SSO means the initiation, the request is initiated by the SP. So whatever the flow we have seen, right? This is a service provider initiated SSO. That means the request is initiated by the SP only, right? So that's why we are calling this process as a SP initiated SSO. So suppose IDP initiated SSO means it is initiated by the IDP itself. How it is possible the request will be initiated by the IDP? So when you enable the configuration inside the Ping Federate, right? One IDP URL will be generated. Okay, automatic one only. Okay, if you try to access that particular URL, means it will start the initiation by the Ping Federate itself actually. So that means SAML request will be hidden. It will be initiated by the Ping Federate IDP, and then it will throw the login screen. Authentication will happen. Response will be generated and then send it to the SP. Okay, so IDP initiated means both of them will be done by the IDP itself. SP means request will be done by the SP. IDP will generate the response basically. So SP initiated SSO is the proper flow. IDP initiated SSO only for the testing we can do that. In a real time and all, it's not recommended actually. Okay, yes, clear? Understood, guys? The SAML part and everything. So here the SAML part, right? So this is the detailed flow which I have, whatever I have mentioned, right? The same thing actually. So for example, let's say like the user is trying to authenticate basically, right? So the same flow which I mentioned basically. Okay, see, IDP federation, that is the Ping Federate means create and sends the SAML response, receives and verify the SAML response. Okay, that is what the flow. Okay, yes, yeah. Okay, now, yeah, go ahead.
Yes, I have a doubt. Like, if in case user used SP initiated URL and there is some break in the flow, it was not hitting the URL to the IDP side. So what would be the possible reason? Is it issue from the SP side or from the IDP?
You need to check with the application whether they are sending the SAML request to the proper endpoint basically. Okay, so for example, let's say, so here these are all the SP information I was mentioning, right? So the SP information is already configured on the IDP side. IDP information is already configured on the service provider side, right? So basically they are sending the SAML request to the Ping Federate, means where they are sending it. They are sending it to the Ping Federate endpoint only. So Ping Federate will have one URL. That URL only it will be sending it actually. Okay, so that URL will be should be configured on the application side properly. Suppose they are they didn't properly configure the URL, the SSO URL in the application side wrongly, means then they will be redirecting to a different page actually. Okay, they need to properly configure the Ping Federate URL only. Ping Federate, if it will have one endpoint, that endpoint they will be configuring in the Microsoft side actually. Okay, so for example, let's say like this kind of a endpoint will be there. Okay, like this it will be there. So SAML request will come like this from the service provider. Like this is the normal flow actually. This is the format exactly. Okay, if you see this endpoint in the Ping Federate login screen, then you can able to see this is the SP initiated SSO actually. Okay, if it is IDP initiated SSO, that will be a different endpoint. Like this actually. Okay, so basically it's a start SSO. If you are seeing this endpoint, we can confirm the user is trying to use the IDP initiated SSO. Okay, that is a difference basically.
Good.
Yes. Okay, now like why we know like SAML is a trusted secured, I mean it's like a secured protocol, trusted protocol. Like for example, if you are using any SSO tool around the world actually, each and every application, the first question they will ask whether SAML we can able to go or not actually. Why? SAML is a trusted secured protocol actually. That is the major advantage for the SAML. But then why there is another protocol came into the picture? What is the reason? What is a disadvantage? Whether SAML cannot be useful for every application in the current market actually? Yes, we can use the SAML, but there are little bit disadvantages also there in the SAML actually. Okay, that's why there is another protocol also, right? So what is the disadvantage of the SAML? What is the advantage? Security is advantage, right? The same security is the disadvantage for the SAML actually. Why? It's too secured. It's unnecessarily too secured actually. I mean, in a real time, that is what you need. Security is the one which you need, which you required actually. That's a major part actually, right? But it's too much security actually. Okay. So what happens in 2008, 2009 and all, right? So there are certain mobile based applications and all came into the picture. So do you know what is a single page application? Anyone knows what is a single page application? Any idea what is a single page application? Any idea, guys? What is a single page? No? Okay. What is a multiple page application? No? Okay. The Microsoft Teams, the Microsoft Outlook, okay, the Salesforce, right? These are all multiple page applications actually. Why? Because if you open any option in the Microsoft, I mean, in the Salesforce or any application, right? It will open in a different pages actually. These are all it's HTML form based application only, XML application only, right? So each and every application inside the application itself, each and every configuration or option, right? It will open in a different page actually. It will open in a different page. That is the multiple pages actually. Multiple pages, these are all good current applications and all. Most of the application is multiple page only. But actually in 2009, the mobile based application, Android based application, iOS based application and all, that is the time it came into the picture actually. So what they did, the Gmail application, the Zoom meeting, right? These are all, it's like a single page application. The same page, it will be open. The same page will be reloading infinite number of times. If you choose any option, it won't even go to the another page, or if even it won't reload basically. So basically the same page will be in the backend, right? The same page will be called infinite number of times actually. So this mobile based application and all, it is same thing, single page application only. You know, the Clash of Clans, the PUBG Mobile, right? These are all, it's a single page application. The Facebook, the Twitter, right? YouTube, all Google applications are single page applications only. So in order to enable this kind of a single page SSO applications, right? In order to enable the SSO, they first of all, they tried with the SAML. They tried with the SAML during the 2009 actually. But what happened, it was not working actually. Google find out this one actually. So they cannot be able to onboard with the SAML actually. It is not working. So later they find out, okay, in single page application, there is a concept called JavaScript actually. In the single page application, there is a concept called JavaScript. Okay. In order to call that API multiple number of times the same page, infinite number of times they will be calling in the backend. So in order to use that, they will be using the JavaScript actually. So the JavaScript is the weakest link actually. So if anyone can able to easily hack the JavaScript, means they can easily log into the application, get into the application actually. So SAML, what happened, right? They intercept this one actually. SAML cannot be able to work on this because it is restricting itself actually. SAML is restricting itself not to work for this kind of a application. So that's why SAML is not suitable for this kind of a application. Later only they have find out actually. That's why SAML 2.0 is still there. There is no update they have given it actually. So that's why there is another protocol they came into the picture, that is known as the OAuth actually. So Google, what they did, they introduced another protocol called OAuth 2.0 actually. So SAML 2.0 directly they have released the OAuth 2.0 actually. Okay, in 2009, 2010, 11, in this many years actually. So then OAuth 2.0 is the protocol which is used to enable the SSO for single page application like mobile based applications. Even OAuth is also used for multiple page application also, but SAML majorly is already there, right? The best protocol is already there for multiple page application. So that's why SAML itself, it is still used for multiple page application. Single page application, what is, they have segregated it. So browser based multiple page application means it will go with the SAML. Single page browser application, single page mobile based application, we can go with the OAuth actually. The ratio will be like 70-30, 70% is SAML, 30% is OAuth, or 60% is SAML, 40% is OAuth actually. Right now, the OAuth number of application is getting increasing because of the modern solutions and all, but SAML is still widely used actually. Okay. Yes. So OAuth is the protocol which is used to enable the SSO for single page browser based application plus single page mobile based application also. Okay, it doesn't mean it is not going to work for MPA. It will also work for the multiple page application. MPA also it will work, but still like SAML is also there now. So that's why SAML is for the multiple page applications actually. Okay, so like another advantage for the OAuth, right? So SAML, you cannot bend the SAML actually, you cannot flexible the SAML actually. SAML is not flexible. Whatever SAML is saying, you need to follow that actually. Whatever the SAML is telling you, right, you need to follow the SAML actually. Okay, but whatever you are telling, OAuth can able to provide you actually. Okay, so OAuth is a flexible. Whatever the recommend you give, you will give. You just give any recommend to OAuth can able to provide the answer solution for that actually. Okay, that kind of a flexibility OAuth is providing it, but with respective to the security part actually, SAML is more secure than the OAuth actually. Even though SAML is browser based only, also means SAML is more security because of the certificate. You're seeing it in the screen, the signing certificate or encryption certificate, right? Okay, but OAuth, that is missing actually. Okay, that is a major part is missing in the OAuth. Basically, that is known as a certificate actually. That's a little bit kind of an issue in the OAuth. But in order to go with the flexibility, you need to pay one price actually. That is a security is the price. Okay, it doesn't mean it's not even security and all actually. It is secured. Okay, OAuth is secured only. But when you compare it with SAML, that kind of security, you cannot put it in the OAuth actually. Okay, little bit less secure than the SAML actually. Okay, OAuth is still secured only. I'm not saying OAuth is not, it's not secured and all. It is still secured. It's the best protocol actually. But when you are comparing with the another best protocol, OAuth is little bit less secure. But they have given a lot of upgrade. It's going on actually right now. OAuth 2.1 is going to come actually. Okay. Right now, OAuth 2.0 is the latest protocol, but OAuth 2.1 is around. It's going to come. It was supposed to release in 2023 itself. Last year itself, 2.1 is going. It was supposed to release actually, but there were issues. I will also explain because I'm also working on the same migration actually. So that's why OAuth 2.1 is not yet released in the market, or it's in the beta testing only, not yet live actually. But it's already 2024 September actually. It didn't release because I know the reason why it didn't release actually. I will also tell you the reason actually. Okay, yes. So OAuth is the authorization protocol. Okay, it's not an open. OAuth is open authorization. SAML means security accession markup language, right? OAuth is open authorization basically. Okay, OAuth is open authorization, which is it's a authorization protocol. It's not a authentication protocol basically. Okay, authentication protocol means it's SAML only. Then now you can ask me one question. Then who will do the authentication for OAuth? there is a one more protocol called OIDC, OpenID Connect basically. Okay, OpenID Connect is nothing but it's a sandwiched with the OAuth actually. So you need to use it along with the OAuth. So if you take a OAuth as a stack layer, means OpenID is available at the top of the OAuth basically. Okay, top of the OAuth basically. Okay. So first it will trigger the OIDC. OIDC will do the authentication. Then OAuth will then OAuth will enable the SSO for the single page application. But in Ping Federate, the extension of OAuth used for authorization, right? It's not used in the Ping Federate. Ping Federate or Okta, any SSO tool is using OAuth only for authentication only to enable the SSO single page application. That means OIDC is the one which will trigger the authentication. OAuth is used to enable the SSO. The authorization can be extended by the ping access here. The authorization, right? So can you go on mute actually? Who is talking actually? Can you go on mute, please? Yes, thank you. So actually the authorization part in the OAuth, right? That is extended by the tool called ping access actually. So in Ping Federate, only authentication for single page application. That's all basically. That is the use case for the OAuth in Ping Federate, I'm saying. Okay. If you want to extend the OAuth for authorization, you need to use the authorization tool like ping access basically. Okay. Yes. So OAuth is nothing but it's an open authorization tool protocol which is used to enable the SSO for single page web browser based application and single page mobile based applications basically. Okay. Yes. And also you need a OIDC to do the authentication for OAuth. So that means OIDC will be available at the top of the OAuth basically. So which will be starting point for the OAuth actually. OIDC is the one which will be starting point. Then what is the difference between the SAML and OAuth? SAML is the authentication protocol. This is authorization protocol. SAML is an independent protocol. You don't need anything for SAML. But in OAuth, you need a OIDC to do the authentication actually. So you need to use it in the combination manner actually. In SAML, it's more secure than the OAuth. It's less secure than the SAML actually. And then with SAML is not that much flexible. You cannot give the flexibility in the SAML, but OAuth can able to provide you the flexibility and then required solution actually. But in the cost of you need to sacrifice the security actually. Yeah, that security will be still there in the SAML actually. The certificate can be used here. You cannot use a certificate here actually for verification. SAML, it's a XML based application basically. SAML is XML based. OAuth is JSON based actually, Java based. Okay, it's because of the JavaScript is used, right? This is a JSON based actually. Okay, so SAML response we are calling this as a SAML response. We are calling this as a SAML assertion, right? In OAuth we are calling this as a access token basically. In OAuth we are calling this as a access token basically. Okay, in SAML we are calling this as a SAML assertion, right? The response. Here OAuth official output, official response is the access token basically. Okay, so access token is the official output for the OAuth basically. Okay, clear guys? Any doubts on this one? Any doubts? Yes. So no. What are the parties are available in the OAuth? In SAML, what are the parties are available? Can you tell me? What are the parties are available in the SAML?
SP and IDP.
IDP and SP.
SP and IDP.
Yes. Yeah, service provider and then the service provider and then the identity provider. Am I right, guys? So now here in the OAuth, right, there are 4 parties are there actually. Okay, why 4 parties are there? So resource owner or user. Then the application is the client actually. Okay, and then resource server. So resource server means in SAML you call it as a service provider, right? That is the resource server actually, the application backend server where everything is hosted, right? The same thing actually. And then the authorization server. Authorization server means that is a Ping Federate. That is the IDP in SAML, right? That is a AS in the like OAuth actually. So resource owner means it's a normal user. In SAML also the user is there actually, but we are not considering the user as a one of the party in the SAML. But in OAuth we are considered as the major party actually. I will also tell you the reason. And then client is nothing but that's the application. The Zoom meeting, right? The Zoom meeting is the front end actually. Okay, the Zoom meeting, the front end application you're seeing, right? In SAML, the application, the service provider, everything is in the everything is same So front end and back end is same actually. But in OAuth, the front end and back end has been split up into two parts actually. So that means service provider has been split up into two parts. Front end is the application client, back end is the resource server, where all the configuration will be configured in the resource server. The user will be seeing only the front end actually. I will tell you why the front end and back end is there actually. I will tell you the reason also. Okay. So authorization server is the IDP in the SAML, who is doing the authentication for the user. Okay, so based on these flows, right, we will have one workflow for the OAuth basically. So what will be the workflow? The same concept here, but in a different way we will do it. Okay, sorry. Okay, so now here I am the user. Okay, I'm trying to access the application here. Okay, so the user is trying to access the client. This is the client, guys. Okay, so application is the client here. Application is the client. Then resource server will be available in the backend actually. Resource server will be available in the backend. Okay, this is the backend configuration. Okay, the information about authorization server information will be available here. AS information. So authorization server is the Ping Federate here. Okay. Okay, I will tell you the reason why it is coming from the client actually, not from the resource server. So whenever the user is trying to access the application, right? Okay, there is a client, the front end, the Zoom meeting, right? So now the Zoom meeting, it will read that, it will send a notification to the RS. Okay, hey, one user is trying to access the application. What we need to do that? Then what resource server will do, right? Based on the information about authorization server, it will generate the authorization request API call, their SAML request. Okay, XML format. So here, this is authorization request API call, and then send the authorization request through the client actually. So that API call will be visible in the browser itself. You can also see that authorization request API call. Okay, and then send the request API call to the Ping Federate, that is the authorization server. Then authorization server will accept it because authorization server will accept this request API. Okay, and then it will throw the login screen to the user actually here. It will throw the login screen to the user. Username and password will be typed actually. Okay, and then it will verify the username along with the directory solution actually, right here. That is a LDAP. So after successful authentication, it will generate the access token. There, after successful authentication, it will generate the SAML response. But here, it will generate the access token and send the token back to the resource server through the client actually. It will send it to the resource server, but through the client only it will be sending it actually. Okay, and then resource server will get the token. But they need to verify the token, right? Whether this token is correct or not. Then they will do the second call here actually. They will do the second call here. RS, this call will be in the backend actually, only between the RS and then the AS. So this call will be the token validation. Okay, so RS will be doing the second call actually, token validation call. Okay, hey, Ping Federate, hey, authorization server, I'm having the token which you sent me in the previous step actually. I'm sending the token back to you again. Can you validate the token and send me whether it's successful or not? Then authorization server will receive the token and then it will validate. If the token is correct, then they will send the attributes like first name, last name, right? The subject here in SAML subject also there. Na? Here also it is subject, one mandatory attribute will be there. Along with the other attributes also will be available like first name, last name and all, right? So on actually, it will be there basically inside the token. Okay. So this is what in SAML, it's a SAML request and response. Here authorization request and access token as a response. So the first step is user is trying to access the application. The authorization request, the input is authorization request API call, username and password, output is token actually. Then the second API call, resource server to AS, input is token, output is token is valid or not actually. That's all guys actually. Only two-step process actually here. Easy. This is what the OAuth, but the transaction between different concept actually. The transaction between different here there is a transaction between IDP to SP only, but here authorization server to the resource server through the client to the authorization server, and then authorization server through to the resource server through the client actually. then resource server to the authentication server actually. Okay, this is the flow for the OAuth basically. Okay, clear? Any doubts, guys?
Yeah, Kamal, can you please repeat one more time?
Yes. So whenever the user is trying to access the application, right, that's a client, the front end, then the notification will be sending to the RS actually here, resource server, the application backend server, where all the authentication server information will be configured. Then RS will generate the authentication request API call and then send the API call to the AS through the client. So because it will be happen in the browser actually, so through the client you can able to send it actually. Then AS will receive the request, authenticate the user. After successful authentication, it will generate the token here and send the token to the resource server through the client. Through the client, it will be sending it. Then the RS will receive the token. Then they need to verify the token before allowing the user to access it, right? So they will do the second call actually, but to check the token to the AS. So RS will send the token to the AS. AS will see the token. If it is successful, it will give the attributes and success response to the RS. Then RS will tell the client. Then client will allow the user to log in into the application basically. Okay, so this is what the OAuth basically. Two step. First step, authentication request API call. Input is username and password. Output is token. Second, input is token. Output is token is successful or not actually. Okay. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Clear?
Yes.
Yeah, Kamal.
Yeah. Any doubts on this one, guys?
No.
No.
So
Okay,
basically,
yeah.
Kamal, first user generate the session. Then on the basis of the session, they generate access token. After that, they will authorize the user, right?
No. Basically, without the session only, they will access it actually. Then the client will send a notification to RS. RS will initiate the request actually. How SP is initiating the request, right? Similarly, here RS will initiate the request actually. Okay. RS will initiate the request and send the request to the authentication server. Then authentication server, that is the IDP, right? IDP will accept it, and then it will throw the login screen. After successful authentication, in SAML, IDP generate the response, right? Here, authentication server will generate the response as an access token and send the token back to the RS actually. Then RS needs to verify. Their SP needs to verify it, right? How the SP is verifying it, basically, the service provider is verifying the SAML response using certificate. But here RS, because there is no certificate here, na, so RS will send the token back to the ES to verify it. Then authentication server will see the token. If it is good, they will verify it. Okay, if it is a wrong token they are sending, it means they will reject that. Actually, it will give an error basically. Okay, yeah. Mm-hmm.
So that's good.
Yeah. Okay. Clear? Yes. So that is why this is considered. Yeah. Go ahead.
How we can secure this actually on the basis of the client ID, right?
No. We can able to secure it. Actually, in SAML, you don't have it directly. We can secure based on the certificate. Actually, here we will be using it based on the secret. Okay. So one secret will be used to secure the APIs actually. Okay. So that is what the flows. There are 4 flows are there in the SAML. OAuth. In SAML, only 2 flows actually. One is IDP initiated flow. Another one is SP initiated flow. But in OAuth, right, there are 4 workflows are there. One is authentication code grant type, implicit grant type, okay, client credentials grant type, and ROPC grant type actually. Okay, resource owner passer credential grant type actually. Okay, authentication code grant type is nothing but it's the same flow. Whatever we are seeing it in the normal flow, right? It's the same thing, but actually 2 different. The first API call will be split up into 2 different calls. So after successful authentication, here it is generating the token directly, right? So here this is not that much secure because here it is generating the token directly, right? So instead of generating the token directly, okay, authentication code will generate a code first. Instead of generating the token, it will generate the code first. Then RS will send another call basically. Okay, hey, I have the code actually. Can you generate the token for me actually? Okay, so the first normal one call will be split up into 2 different calls actually. So instead of exposing the token in the browser itself, they will be doing one more call to create the token in the backend actually. That is authentication code actually. Implicit is the normal flow, whatever you are seeing in the screen, right? The same thing. Right now, implicit in 2.1 protocol, right? The implicit grant type, they are going to remove it actually. Okay, they are going to remove the implicit grant type actually. Okay, so it's there right now, it is there, but nowadays we are changing the implicit grant type to the same authentication code only basically. Yeah. And client credential, there is no user authentication basically. Okay, so if any application required any kind of a use application to application authentication means, then a client credential will be used, not the user authentication. Instead of authenticating the user, they will authenticate the application basically. Okay, that is the client credentials grant type. Then last and final one, that is known as the resource owner password credential grant type. So the resource owner password credential grant type is nothing but like which is used to, for example, let's say normally we are throwing the login screen to the user, right? We are getting the username and password. That means Ping Federate is doing it. Suppose one application is asking, okay, hey, Ping Federate, I don't need your login screen actually. I'm having my own login screen. I will get the username and password from my side actually. And then what I will do in the API call, I will send the username and password, right? So the client will get the username and password from the user, and then they will send the username and password to the authorization server actually. Then Ping Federate will accept it, will validate the credentials and generate the token. This is the least secured one. Why? Because the application will get the username. They are going in the API call. They are going to send the username and password actually. Okay, that is little bit kind of a issue actually. Right now we are not using the ROPC methodology and all because that is not a secured grant type actually. Okay, then you can ask me one question. Then still why this ROPC method is still there? Resource owner password credential grant type. Because like there are certain legacy, the old application, two old application was there actually. So those like 15 years or 20 years before application was there. So those application we may use the we may use this particular ROPC grant type actually. Okay. Other than that, this is a not a good one actually. And implicit also not used. The most widely used one is the authentication code. So instead of generating the token first, it will generate the code, then the token, then token validation will be there. Normal 2 steps, it will be split up into 3 steps actually. Yeah. So that is the flow basically. Okay, understood? Clear?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, guys. So this is how the OAuth SAML flow within the single sign-on, and then the federated single sign-on will be available, guys. Actually. Okay. Yes. So now I think we'll stop it right here. So if you have any question or if you have any queries or something, right, you can ask me in the last 15 minutes actually. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Kamal,
Okay.
can you also explain the bindings? I mean, HTTP post and RTCAP methods.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there is one. Okay, in SAML, how the SAML request and response is transacting between the IDP and SP, right? That is based on the bindings only. So there is a concept called bindings actually in SAML. Okay. So like bindings means HTTP redirect is one of the binding. That is a get method. So HTTP redirect binding get method, which is used to get the SAML request from the SP and then redirect to the Ping Federate. That is a SAML request, and then SAML response will be posting to the that is to the SP, right? That is known as the HTTP post method actually. Okay, artifact is the backend. So if anyone wants to call that SAML response in the backend means artifact method will be there, but that is for the old applications and all. Nowadays, all the modern solutions are requiring the HTTP redirect and then the post method only. So redirect and post will be used in the combination manner actually. If I want to use the artifact, you need to use the post and redirect also basically, because artifact it's only for backend channel only, but in order to generate the response, you need the post method actually. Okay. Yes.
Thank you.
Yes. Yeah. So any other questions, guys?
Hey, Kamal, you
Actually,
suggested that.
Yeah, go ahead.
So you suggested that actually, Kamal, that IDP initiated request is not recommended. Why?
Because it is not a traditional SAML flow basically. So traditional SAML flow, you need to see the SAML request first of all. It should be initiated by the application only. We should not initiate by ourselves actually. Okay, that is on the IDP side itself. Okay, so because every time if you do the IDP, every time it will generate the SAML response actually. Right.
Yeah.
So SP initiated SSO only, which will have all the parameters, it will check everything, then only it will generate the SAML response basically. Okay. IDP initiated SSO just for testing purpose. Once you create every configuration, and if you want to test it, okay, this is good or not, right? So in order to test it, you can use the IDP initiated SSO. But in a normal, every application, if you want to suggest it, no, they should have to follow SP because that is a proper way actually.
Okay, so there is no actually there is no security concern on the IDP initiated.
No,
but
security concern is not there actually, just for a proper way. Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. If you want, you can use it. That's not at all problem at all. Just, but you need to see the flow, right? The flow should be starting from SP only. Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. There is in SAML, there is no security issues and all basically.
Actually, why we use Ping Federate other than Okta, as you said first, like Ping Federate.
Ping Federate is the on-premises tool actually. So suppose the management of services, you are going to manage it basically. So for example, let's say if you have any kind of a issue, means you can able to solve it by yourself actually. Suppose I will tell you one reason actually. So that is one time Okta Cloud was down actually. Okay, so for I think around 11 hours actually. Okay, so till that 11 hours, you cannot access anything there. So what will be the impact of that upload? It won't happen every time. Okay, it never happens actually, but sometime it will happen. Right. So some kind of update. You know the CrowdStrike issue, right? Last month we received some kind of CrowdStrike.
I
Right?
heard that.
Yeah, the blue screen, right? Similar kind of issue which will happen for every product actually. Okay, so since Ping Federate is our services, you are the owner actually. Okay, but Okta is not. You are not the owner. You are just a tenant owner actually. You are just a tenant. Okay, so that means someone else is managing your services actually. Okay, Ping Federate means you install it, you manage it, you manage your server components, the backend files, everything you have the control actually. Okay, that is not there for the cloud system actually. That is one of the major disadvantage for the SAML. Sorry, what do you call that? Okta over the Ping Federate. Okay, but Okta is simple. Okta is simple to use actually, but Ping Federate is also much more simpler. But the major advantage for the Ping Federate is the easier user interface, and then the control for everything, and then you can have the, if any issues, right, you can able to solve it by yourself actually. That is a major part actually. And obviously, like both of them, you have the perfect document, everything is there, so you don't need to every support, every help, everything is there for both of them actually. So only one thing, the control is the major part actually. Because we need the control, that's what. But I think in future that is also, it might not be there basically, but yeah. Yes.
So it is only in on-prem or cloud is there also there?
No, that is what I mentioned, right? So actually in Ping 1 for advanced services is there, right? So Ping Federate, all the Ping Federate Ping products in a single platform as a service actually. Okay, single platform as a service, that is also there. That is the cloud solution basically. Rather than hosting the Ping Federate in a normal on-premises, you can also host a Ping Federate in the cloud system also. There you cannot manage the service. You don't have the control. You are the tenant, like in Okta actually.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
Hey, Kamal, I have one question rather than this actually. It's about the REST API actually. So when we create a user with the help of the REST API, so how we can secure the REST API actually? Just want to know actually.
The REST API, you are asking inside the Ping Federate or something, or outside actually?
It's about the Forjoke actually. So we are using as of now in the system organization. We are using Forjoke and we are migrating to the Ping identity actually practically. Within a 2 or 3 months, we are going to migrate to the Ping cloud actually.
Exactly.
So we are
Yeah, the REST API we can able to. So normally, how we are accessing the REST API, how we are authenticating, what authentication you are using it.
We are
normally,
using a REST API to create a users actually.
Yeah. That what authentication you are using in the REST API, whether you are using normal service account username and password or someone else actually.
That's the service account username actually.
Yeah. So instead of using service account username, use any access token like OAuth configuration basically. So that will be helpful. In any OAuth configuration, you can able to use you can able to generate the token. By using the token, you can create user, delete user, modify user actually. That is much more secure than the using it in the service account or password.
So each and every time they have to first they have to generate the user, then they have to create a user, right?
First generate the token. I mean, there is one API available for, for example, inside the Ping Federate also. So Ping Federate, for example, you're going to use the REST API to create the user in the Ping directory. Okay. So first they will authenticate the Ping directory inside the Ping Federate. They will generate one token, then share the token to the Ping directory and then create a user actually. That is the access token. That process is there inside the Ping Federate. So it's there in the Ping directory actually. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. Instead of rather than using the service account username and
because I know that it's a insecure because if we share the password to someone and we cannot rotate the password actually or secretly with it, right?
Account. The authentication, your basic authentication, instead of using the username and password, you can use the bearer token actually. Yeah. Okay. But I mean, REST API itself is not that much secured actually. But if it is still in internal means, that's good actually. That's fine. Okay. Not in external. Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, guys. So, any other queries? Any other questions, guys? Yeah. So I think Gary, you can take over actually.
Okay, so thanks a lot, Kamal, for a great insight, around this Ping Federate. I think most of the people have made a lot out of it. So just a very quick comment. We have received 2 questions via chat as well, wherein it says that can we do endpoints if we don't have SP metadata? And can you explain?
I already explained that actually. Yeah, it's already done. Yeah.
Okay.
And then the RTF binding also is done actually. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So great. Then I think that we can conclude for today. So as a first of all, I would like to thank Kamal for taking out the time and sharing a great insight across. And I would like to also thank everybody who has come in and joined this webinar. I hope that we are able to make a most out of it. And guys, just wanted to let you know that we would be having the recording as well as the detailings for this webinar via our website community as well. So just stay tuned for that. So thank you very much, Kamal. Thank you, audience. It was a great day ahead. Thank you. Have a nice weekend ahead, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Thank you, guys. Yeah.
Thank you, Kamal. Really appreciate it. Thank you, Kamal. And
thank you. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you, Kamal.
Thank you, guys. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
बस यही है तूने नहीं लिया था